So hello and welcome to the Women's Energy Network Path to Power series. My name is Claire Linkhart. I'm president of the WEN Ohio chapter, but government affairs professional for the oil and natural gas industry by day. I'm here today with Jackie Stewart, who I consider one of my North Stars in my field. Jackie has significant experience in corporate strategy, public and government affairs, and I would definitely consider an expert in the energy field. She's been a tremendous partner to WEN throughout the years, and we're thrilled to have her today to chat with us. So welcome, Jackie, and thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, and thank for the kind welcome and opportunity to do this. Would have liked to have been more involved, I think, over the years than I have been, but hopefully in my new role, I'll be able to step in to be, more engaged than I have been,
Absolutely.
which I'm really looking forward to being back and being more
Yeah.
active here going forward. So, and
Yeah.
congratulations to you too for your
Oh,
new
thank
role,
you.
Claire, this year.
Thank you.
So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
The
Um,
Ohio chapter is like really, I mean, the last couple of years has been really rocking it. So that's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we're definitely excited to get started this year for sure. So, and you're helping us kick it off. So here we are. So why don't we start with just a simple introduction, who you are, where you're from, your current role, and kind of a brief school career history, if you don't mind.
Sure. So hi everyone. My name is Jackie Stewart. As Claire mentioned, I'm proud Buckeye, OHIO. Grew up in Ohio, in Appalachia actually, and went to the University of Mount Union, a small private liberal arts school, kind of like Claire. Went to DC and worked for a United States Senator for several years, and ended up leaving for a minute, went to work for the PGA Tour, believe it or not, for a year in Florida, which was super cool. Decided that my husband and I decided we wanted to start a family back home in Ohio. My husband's from Cleveland, I'm from Youngstown, and worked for Congressman Bill Johnson, which, those in the energy space are, I'm sure, familiar with that name. So had the great opportunity to work for Bill right out of the gate after he got elected for several years. And then went to work for FTI Consulting, again, another name in the industry that everyone should be familiar with, and specifically in their energy practice in the strategic communications division. Started off as a director and then was promoted several times to managing director. Had an amazing experience with FTI. Cannot say enough about FTI. Love those guys. Great. And then one of our clients had just announced an acquisition in Ohio, a new company called Encino Energy, which was acquiring a company, their assets in Ohio, rather, Chesapeake's assets in Ohio, and had an opportunity to go work with some legends in the industry, individuals that I had wrote about, that I had studied in the Marcellus, Ray Walker and Hardy Murkison, and I was just thrilled to have the opportunity to go, be part of the Encino team, really at the ground level, and spent the last year with Encino, where I was vice president of external affairs, and I actually was able to serve on the operating committee of the company. Was the only vice president that's actually here in Ohio, that was able to do that. And so, as you all may know, Encino was recently acquired by EOG Resources, and I was part of the deal team that actually made that happen, which was unbelievable. So 2025 was a incredible year for the company, quite frankly, for the Utica. I firmly believe that we're about to see a Utica 2.0, a new era in energy development in Ohio, around oil specifically. And
Yeah.
and so and the most important thing on the career side, that's kind of my story. But the most important thing has been the fact that I have two children. I have a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old. They're super involved in every sport and hobby and piano and all the things you can imagine. And I have a wonderful husband that's been a true partner from day one that I've been married to for 20 years. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the I call it the second shift when you do your full-time job and then the second shift just chauffeuring kids around to sports. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So talk about, if you wouldn't mind, your experience as a woman in the energy industry, which is so much of obviously what WEN is focused on. And I know, we've both been at regulatory roundtables or meetings together where it's often just like the two of us, or you're the only one, or I'm the only one, or whatever. I mean, it's obviously a very common experience for those of us that are women in the energy industry to kind of be oftentimes the only female at the table. So, to that as well, like, have you ever felt a need to censor yourself given your role as a woman in a otherwise male-dominated field?
Um, no, yes and no. As you can probably tell, I have the gift of gab. So I am a talker. I'm also incredibly transparent, which I think has been, for the most part, has been a blessing and I think a hallmark of kind of who I am as a person,
Hmm.
um, across the board. And that's what I built a career on. At the same time, I also think that I had a boss one time give me the book Smart Brevity, and I don't
Hmm.
know if I got this book and I was so upset. I was like, I can't believe my boss gave me this book, and I was so upset. Um, but I read it and I still refer back to it today because it really for me it's been less about like censorship and more about being smart with my words and very intentional
Hmm.
and having more empathy, which I think we can all agree is really important now. Especially, well, your words really do matter, especially when you're
For
in
sure.
leadership. So knowing your audience and really knowing what you're trying to communicate and when is fundamental to being successful. And so
Hmm.
as I've gotten older, into my 40s, and I'm still learning for sure, but I think I've just been a lot more intentional with my words as I've gotten older. So I have been really blessed though to have worked for and mentored by, quite frankly, men who have been my biggest cheerleaders.
Hmm.
I've just never felt like, well, I can't say this because I'm a woman. Ray Walker, Congressman Johnson,
Hmm.
the entire team, honestly, at FTI, my firm now, McKinley Strategies, where I'm a managing partner here. I've been really blessed that way. That
Yeah.
said, I will say that we do need more women to, I always, raise their hand and serve
Hmm.
on boards
Yep.
because to your point, Claire, too often, there just are one or two women that are in meetings and you'll see, I mean, that delta is just, it's changing, but it has a
Hmm.
long way to go still, in my
For
view.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and that kind of then gets into networking, which again is so much of what WEN is about and what we do for females in the industry. So how have you utilized networking in your career, and how has it helped?
Um, it's everything. And I
Yeah.
think that, given what's kind of happening in the digital space and AI and, all of it. And I think, I have probably underutilized LinkedIn over my career, kind of old school. I guess that's what happens when you're, knocking on mid 40s here. But I do think that not being transactional
Mm-hmm.
with your relationships
Mm-hmm.
is very, very important. I think at its core, being kind
Yep.
is very important. And also, if you are blessed enough to have advanced in your career, truly taking the time to look backward and say thank you to
Yeah.
that great boss who made a difference in your life, to that mentor. And those people don't necessarily need to be older than you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they also can be younger than you and say, you know what, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for, the role you've played in my career. Um, and so I think but the building relationships, going back to kind of how I fundamentally feel about transparency, I think being real
Hmm.
is more important today than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And I think if you do it right, the business relationships you have, and I feel this way about you, Claire. I mean, your professional relationships really too turn into your friendships.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I can honestly say every boss, every mentor I've ever had,
Hmm.
I am personal friends with to this day. So
Yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah.
it's all about. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I will say, you see so many, I mean, of course there's transitions, there's mergers, there's things like that. So you do see a lot of people shifting around in the energy industry, but you also see a lot of just really long time career people. And I do think that really speaks to relationships. Like you said, people just are there for, not only the industry, obviously you and I very much believe in the energy industry
Hmm.
and love the industry we work for, but also the people that are there, I think helps retain and keep people. So, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. All right, let's, if you wouldn't mind, talk about a difficult situation you've had to overcome. It could be personally, professionally, whatever you want.
So I have two. My first one kind of hit me a little harder as I transitioned from Encino, and now I'm into consulting, which was really intentional
Mm-hmm.
because I made the intentional choice to kind of leave corporate America
Mm-hmm.
and focus more time on my family.
Yeah.
And consulting allows you to do that, in my opinion, a little better than corporate. Has it well, especially when you're building a company like we were the past 7 years.
Yeah.
But but I think that being present is really important. Putting the
Mm-hmm.
phone down. If you're on vacation and you tell people on you're on vacation, but then you're still answering emails and doing all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just don't do it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I've learned that over the years to try to, and I'm still learning. If you're a workaholic, it's tough to do that.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Um, but I think professional women, certainly in energy, I used to say when I would go to American Exploration and Production, the AXPC meetings, for the past 7 years, and I would be around other colleagues and other moms, and we would talk
Mm-hmm.
about these challenges. And I always told, my other colleagues in the industry, this feels like therapy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much.
Yes.
For sure.
It's like, how do you do this? And how do you be a mom and have
Mm-hmm.
this career and be good at both?
Yeah.
I don't believe, I don't think you can be everything to everyone all at once.
Right. Right. No, totally agree. And it is therapy, being able to kind of just talk through it. And then it's also remembering, I know you have a daughter, I have two daughters,
Yeah.
setting that example for those little girls too. Moms can have a career and be a present mom as well. So that's great.
Yeah. The other thing, the other thing I'll mention, at least for me, has been getting, like I said, I grew up in Youngstown. I have a bachelor's degree, didn't go to an Ivy or soft Ivy school, and somehow have been able to kind of just work really hard
Yeah.
and kind of build off of that work ethic. But there's been a lot of times over the years when I've traveled to other big cities and I'm in the
Hmm.
rooms with everybody that have advanced degrees and certifications that I don't have, and went to
Hmm.
Ivy League schools, and just maybe had a different uh, socioeconomic situation, even growing up, and
Right.
life experiences and such. And it took me a long time to kind of feel like that I deserve to be in those rooms too.
Sure.
And I think that I would say this, if you're, especially if you're in the energy industry and you didn't grow up in Houston,
Hmm.
um, or, Oklahoma City, and you weren't
Hmm.
kind of in that culture,
Right.
um, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big tent
Hmm.
for various socioeconomic backgrounds diversity of thought, and political discussions, quite frankly. And so I think that, coming to terms with the fact that I have earned the right to kind of be in those
Mm-hmm.
rooms, and have a voice in those rooms. And I would just say, like I said, if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're finding yourself in that situation, I would say own it,
Yeah.
because those folks that are in Houston or in Oklahoma, if they're trying to really, you know, they're asking your opinion about
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that you're an expert in, give it to them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be asking if they didn't want it, right? So,
Right.
and they must think you're an expert,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't.
Right.
So those are the two things that I would say have been important to kind of walk through and understand over the course of my career. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So I think we have time for probably just one more question, a good way to wrap it up. So what, if you could share, what is one action people could take today to improve their career or be a more effective leader?
Um, I think that, going back to relationships, don't be transactional. I said that before, I'm gonna say it
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yep.
Um, because it will show at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And I think some people try to act like that they're not being transactional, being kind of cheeky about it. But it will find you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
be who
Yeah.
you are, be authentic. And and I would also say, as you're getting older in your career, as I am, do not be afraid to continue to learn from those that are behind you, and allow them to be your mentors. There's just so much focus on mentorship with people that are older than you.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to really change, because
Absolutely.
the 20s, 30s, group that's coming behind us,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to lead the world very, very
Yeah.
soon, and are, by the way, right
Yeah.
now.
Right.
They know more than we do in a lot of cases with AI. My daughter knows how to use my phone better than I do, for crying
Yeah.
out loud. She's
Yep.
9.
Yep.
Um, but I do think sometimes when you get into this 40s, 50s world, it's kind of like, you're a little scared of the technology, or just the kind of, the different worlds in which you live. But I would just say embrace that,
Yeah.
and learn from it. Diversity of thought is a real, real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, call people back
Mm-hmm.
quickly,
Yes. Yep.
um, email them back quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, be that person that is, like I said, transparent, not transactional, authentic, and you know, you can rely that they're going to call you back and be on their game.
For
I
sure.
think those are just the fundamentals. And all of those things require the human element, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we all kind of navigate what the world with AI, and these tools that I think are awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Yep.
But how do you incorporate the tools and the human element together? Which,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, our industry as a whole, the energy industry, that is what has completely unlocked what we're
Yeah.
seeing here, right?
Right.
So yeah, so that's kind of in a nutshell, what I've learned and my perspective, I guess, on the world. And surround yourself with good human beings,
Yeah.
is so huge. Toxic cultures and people, um, they really do rob your soul.
Yeah.
So where it's, whether that's your personal life or your professional life,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I've been really, really blessed to have teams, and mentors that have made all the difference. So and good
Yeah.
friends like
Yeah.
you. And that's
Absolutely. I
kind
was
of the
going to
point of
say,
WEN, right?
likewise. Yeah, no,
Isn't that the point of
exactly.
WEN, to kind of
Totally. I mean,
surround
I think,
ourselves with like-minded people?
yes, and we have something to learn from everyone. And yeah, like I said in my intro, I've learned so much from you and definitely consider friend and mentor for sure. So Well, thank you so much for doing this, Jackie. We appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing not only where you go and your career, and then also, your work with WEN. We look forward to the partnership. So.
Likewise.
uh,